Hello, my name is Teresa, and I am an artist and the owner-operator of Mi Florecita Art Shop. I'm currently working with Amy and Helen in a collaboration project intended to build community and support children and their families. We call ourselves the Three Friends in a Book. And on Fridays during this Easter journey that we're going on, I will be offering some fun family activities, some games, crafts, things that you can follow along with your families and your friends and enjoy. Today, I would like to introduce you to a very fun family tradition that we have in my family that we do around Easter time, and it has brought so many fond memories with my family throughout the years. And I hope it'll do the same for you. First, I want to make sure that I introduce this book to you, The Dance of the Eggshells, and that's what it is, eggshells, called Cascarones, and it's both in Spanish and English. And apparently with copyright issues, I can't read it to you, so we can't do a story time, but at least I want to make sure that you're aware of the book so that you can do that with your family. Go to the library or find it yourself. All right, so first off, I want to be able to give you a little bit of history before we get into the actual crafting of it and the fun part. I discovered that, I didn't know this while I was growing up, of course, but I learned later on that cascarones, or the eggshells, are hollowed out chicken eggs, that shells that are filled with confetti. And you see them mostly throughout the United States, primarily through the southern and border states that border Mexico. And we celebrate using them mostly around Easter, but they can be used any time of the year, weddings, celebrations, birthdays, anything festive, to be able to share joy and with the families and people getting together. It actually originated in China. And Marco Polo was actually said to have been the one who brought the cascarones to Italy and introduced it to Europe as a whole. They were originally filled with perfumes and powder talcs that were very expensive, and so it was really popular among the very wealthy, high society monarchy. Not a big stretch for people to use the eggshells because it had a lot of symbolism involved. In many cases, the eggshell represents Jesus's tomb, empty tomb, and the confetti is symbolic of the resurrection. So, and it's also a process of patience to make these. So during Lent, it became an act of patience, or a penance even, and they would carefully break the eggs as they were preparing for meals, and they would get their egg, and then they would cut a hole at the top very gently, and then they would empty all the contents of the egg and then prepare what they were using. They would painstakingly clean the egg, dry it, and let it sit there until they're ready to actually do the dyeing and the decorating of the eggshells themselves. Once they got to that point, then it was time to actually start doing the crafting of the cascarones. And this is what we're going to work on today as the next step here. So I told you I gave you a materials list, and so scissors, some crepe paper, glue, confetti that you can make yourself or that you could buy at a store. You can do it by cutting it up or using your paper punch. And again, once the eggs were cleaned and dried and dyed and decorated and colored and painted the way you wanted, there should be a hole at the top, and depending on how they're all different kinds and shapes. Then you're going to fill the middle of the egg, the empty eggshell, with confetti. And you want to fill the confetti in there as either a fourth or up to a half full with the confetti inside the eggshell. And then you're going to cut about an inch. It's not really all that scientific, just about an inch, a square of the crepe paper. And you're going to get your glue, and you're going to just outline the edge of the egg opening, just as so, and you're just going to cover it up very simply. And then set that aside, let it dry, and then you're ready for the next piece. And that is the fun part. So this is the part that's the most fun. Families would be doing this throughout the season, preparing all these eggs. And so as families would get together for Easter celebrations, they would bring their collection and everybody would break it up as far as what would be their stash. And as growing up, we would all be trying to get as much as we could so we could enjoy it. And so what we would do then is have essentially like an eggshell fight, right? So we would go around trying to spread Easter joy on top of each other's heads. And essentially what you're going to do is you're going to use the eggshell that's filled up. You're going to go on top of a head and you're going to crack it open and then let the everything shine through and have the confetti fall all over the place. It's a nice big fun mess. The recommendation is not to crack it on the head, but to crack it in your hand and then spread it around to have a good time. No throwing at each other or none of that, because it can be dangerous if you're not paying attention. It's supposed to be a fun, joyful experience. And so remember those little tips of safety. But for the most part, that's exactly the joy of it, is just being able to have that and spread that with each other and have just a really good time. And of course, then clean up and just enjoy the festivities afterwards. So I hope that you enjoy this activity, and it brings you guys a lot of fun, and maybe even see if you can post some pictures and share some of the things that you were able to do with this with your family and friends. Thank you, and have a good weekend.